Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex P. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Sunday, October 13th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, ready to break down the Sunday card. We got 4 games in the NHL here for this Sunday. Hope everyone enjoyed your Saturday, the first Saturday of the NHL season. It was a very entertaining night. We'll recap most of it coming up in just a moment. This is our attempt to look like a news channel. We got the ticker at the bottom of the screen today. And the reason why I decided to put the ticker is because we do have a very important program alert for you. Tomorrow, Monday, October 14th, which is actually Canadian Thanksgiving tomorrow. We will be doing the show earlier. We will be on at our weekend time, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central tomorrow for the Monday edition of the show. The reason for that is obvious. We have a ton of day games tomorrow in the NHL because it's also a holiday south of the border as well. As you can see, we've got 3 games that will start at 1 Eastern tomorrow. LA, Ottawa, Florida, Boston, Utah, New Jersey. So being on at noon Eastern will allow us to get those games out to you guys, our analysis and our thoughts before they start. So an earlier start time tomorrow for just, and it's actually going to be this way moving forward as well. Mondays at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, starting tomorrow. This is going to be every Monday, not just tomorrow, because of the fact that I do the college football show, which I've done for years with Connor Mack, hitting the books at 1 p.m. Eastern, and it usually rolls into the Ice Guys, and we've had to start the Monday Ice Guys shows first few months of the year, usually at 3 or 3:30 Eastern. We decided, you know what, we're going to just move the Monday show to noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, and it'll stay this way for, well, basically starting tomorrow all the way through to probably the end of December. And then once we get into the new year and football season's over, we will be going back to 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central with the show on Monday. So Mondays moving forward, starting tomorrow, the Ice Guys show will be at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, the same time as our Saturday and Sunday shows. So there you go. Alex, let's get into it with the Saturday recap. As far as that goes, there's not much to say about LA Boston other than congrats to both of us. We had the draw in that game, plus 370. The history of the two teams spelled that the draw was live. Just the way we figured that game was going to be played, pretty tight, pretty competitive, that it was going to be a draw candidate. And sure enough, it was. And the Bruins get the victory in overtime yesterday in that one. And now they have won back-to-back games after that really rough first game of the season against Florida early in the week. So nice bounce back there for the Bruins, winning 2 in a row against Montreal and LA at home. Speaking of Montreal, they are now 2-1 on the season. And Samuel Montembeault, 1 goal allowed in 2 games, starting in net for the Canadians. He continues to play well. Cole Caulfield scores another goal. What a absolutely tremendous start for him. And the Canadians, we kind of all thought they were live, that they were, even though Ottawa had owned them, this is a new season. This is a different Montreal team. The more I watch, this is a better Montreal team. Now, again, let's pump the brakes. It's 3 games. Let's not just all of a sudden say, wow, maybe they can threaten to make the playoffs. It's so early. We got to calm down a little bit. But there's definitely very good positive signs I'm seeing from the Montreal Canadiens, no question. And a nice 4-1 win for them last night. We saw Toronto get the job done against Pittsburgh, 4-2 for the Leafs. I think a lot of us had the team total for the Leafs over. We got it late with the empty netter. Very workmanlike effort from Toronto. They had a sluggish start. Sometimes that happens, right? Your home opener, and then the first period, you're just not really all that sharp. But they certainly picked it up in the last 2 periods and played a really solid game. Stoley, the goalie, Anthony Stolarz, was solid again in victory. Matthew Knies has had a million chances, and it's nice to see him finally get rewarded and get a goal there for Toronto as well. So a nice 4-2 win for the Leafs over the Penguins there. The best bet comes through. This was the game that put the most money in my pocket last night. We like New Jersey in so many different ways last night. We had the first period money line split with the first period puck line, which was my best bet. And I decided to go with the puck line for the big plus money as the best bet, plus 170 with that New Jersey Devils first period puck line best bet winner for me yesterday on the show. New Jersey full game money line as well, and they get the job done 5-3. I actually added a late sprinkle on the over by Fecta as well in that game, and that also came through. So that was a clean sweep for me with that Devils Capitals game. And shout out to Alex, who also had a correct score. Devils 2, Capitals 1. That paid upwards of what, 12, 13, 14 to 1.
That was 10-1. That one was 10-1. The 12-1. 12-1 was on the 2-0, but that went away right away. That's why I said I added that 2-1, because sure enough, it was Washington got the first goal, and then New Jersey getting the 2 to come out. So
yeah, no doubt for us that was a hell of a result all the way around for Alex and I. And I know Alex was on a lot of those Devils bets as well that I was, the first period and the first period puck line as well. Look, the thought process was very simple, and it actually made sense when you think it through. Washington had not played a game yet. This was New Jersey's 4th game of the season. That's clearly an advantage for the team that's played already. You know, there's a little bit more chemistry. There's a little bit more rhythm in their game, and they fell behind 1-0 because it was a power play goal for Washington. But before that power play goal, New Jersey was carrying the play big time. You could see it. Washington looked a step slow, and sure enough, they get the 2 goals after that, and to cash that first period puck line. Plus, they were coming off a game where collectively, from Sheldon Keefe to the players, they were all disappointed with the way they played against Toronto on Thursday night. So I figured they'd want to bounce back, play a lot better, and they are the better team, and they get the 5-3 win there. Buffalo off the schneid against the injury-riddled defending champs, 5-2. But credit to them. I don't want them to people to rag on Buffalo saying, well, Tkachuk was out. Well, Barkov was out. Well, you didn't have to face Sergei Bobrovsky. It was Spencer Knight in net. Okay, but let's give Buffalo credit. They needed a win. They played well. They finally capitalized on some chances, and the Sabres end up getting a nice 5-2 win. But the injuries are certainly a concern for Florida moving forward. We'll see if how long Tkachuk's out and of course Barkov is going to be a week-to-week situation for him. How about Nashville, man? 0-2. Not maybe what a lot of people expected with this highfalutin lineup they've put together and all this wheeling and dealing and signings they made in the offseason, but they get blanked by Cam Talbot of all people and the Detroit Red Wings 3-0 last night. So a very, very surprising result, but and Detroit with their defensive issues, and yet here's Nashville, team that also added, Stamkos, Marchessault. You've got O'Reilly, Forsberg, Nyquist, and nary a goal for the Nashville Predators last night. But again, now people are going to say, oh, Nashville overrated, overhyped. Again, everyone's got to breathe at this stage of the season. Don't get too hyped and excited about the teams playing great, and don't get too negative about the teams that are struggling right now. It's a very, very long season. We're not even a full week into the NHL season yet. Relax. Yeah.
And as far as that game goes, give Detroit a ton of credit, because I grabbed Nashville plus 190 live. They were down 1-0, and they had all the chances in the world. And it's just Detroit's defense and Cam Talbot and net made some big saves late. So they played a A+ game defensively, and that was an impressive effort by Detroit in that third period.
No doubt, and you definitely have to give them credit for that. No doubt, no question about it. What else did we see? Oh, yeah, the game of the night. The game of the night, it's not even a debate. The Utah Hockey Club and the New York Rangers was NHL hockey on steroids last night. It was an absolute barn burner. It even had some rough stuff. A couple of fights in the game. It got nasty at times. And this is Utah and the Rangers. This is two teams that don't have a lot of history. And they delivered by far the most entertaining watch of the night. This Utah Hockey Club, and again, they are now started 3-0 with this 6-5 overtime win last night. I did jump in on small pieces of the Utah team and the draw hits in that game as well at a great price. So that was another good result too. A little piece of the over by Fecta also comes through. And yeah, again, it's 3 games into the year. Breathe. It doesn't mean Utah's making the playoffs for sure yet. It doesn't mean Utah's going to contend for the Stanley Cup now because of this start. But what I will say is this team offensively, their potential and their ceiling is through the roof. It absolutely is. They are an absolutely dynamic, creative, fast, offensive hockey team. They can do so many different things. Their passing is off the charts. Just the way they can read and react to the play on the fly on the ice is just incredible to see, especially a guy like Dylan Guenther, who's had this incredible start for the Utah Hockey Club. Scores again last night. He's just been lighting it up in the early part of the season. And what makes that win even more impressive for Utah, they did that against Igor Shesterkin, who is playing with an ultimate point to prove, playing for the biggest money contract a goalie's received in a very long time in the NHL. A guy coming off a shutout win against Pittsburgh, who was outstanding in that first game, and you light him up for 6 goals. I can't be more impressed with Utah as far as this offense and what they're delivering right now. Clayton Keller's been great. I mean, he's playing like a captain, 2 goals, 1 assist. What an absolute piece of filth that was by him on the backhand in overtime to win that game. A lot of these goals were great goals, though, so it's hard to blame Shesterkin. Shesterkin didn't give up too many softies. I mean, this was just tremendous offensive execution, great skill, elite finish in a lot of these goals that Utah scored last night. So the hockey club is on fire to begin the year, 3-0. I know Ryan Smith on Twitter X is a very happy owner, posting a lot of comments after the win last night. Could you imagine, and I said this last night, Alex, being in the state of Utah, maybe you don't know much about hockey at all or haven't watched much, if any, hockey before. But now you know you've got a team in the NHL in Utah, and you say, you know what, that's pretty cool. I want to get behind him, and I'm see if I can start to get into this sport and start to like it. Could you imagine that this is the first 3 games that the Utah Hockey Club has delivered for you for any brand new first-time hockey fan in that state? Incredible. You can't ask for more. And first of all, it's not just the 3 wins. It's the brand of hockey, the entertainment, the skill, the speed, the action-packed nature of these 3 games so far involving Utah. I mean, my goodness, you talk about signing people up to love the sport in Utah. You can't put a better blueprint of that in front of them than what this Utah Hockey Club has done in their first 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. That is as exciting as it gets. Like I said, if you're for the faint of heart, like I said, you're being tested out now because it only gets more and more nerve wracking as the season goes on, and this is just a microcosm of what it is when you go to the playoffs. So definitely like an exciting start to that franchise for sure.
I'm excited to see where it goes from here. And Utah, New Jersey, with some of the talent on both of those teams, I mean, buckle up tomorrow afternoon when those 2 teams play as this great road trip continues here for the Utah Hockey Club. And by the way, I'm already seeing the 6s, which is where that total opened for Utah, New Jersey tomorrow, go up to 6.5. People are seeing they're dead nuts over right now, this Utah team, with the way they're scoring goals right now. There's no doubt about that. And I think people are starting to catch on to that. The later games, we saw the Dallas Stars. You talk about workmanlike. Very impressive 3-0 shutout over the New York Islanders, a 2-0 start for Dallas. Somewhere the Robinsons are having a celebration or a party over it. Maybe not. It's only 2 games into the regular season, but a nice start for Dallas. 3-0 win last night over the Islanders. Very, very solid. And the Islanders are a better offensive team. You know, a few years ago, shutting out the Islanders is no big deal. But they do have a little bit more offense now, and Jake Ottinger, a 34-save shutout last night. How about the Seattle Kraken making me happy? I took them plus 124 last night. They were down most of that game, but they kept battling back. Minnesota would go ahead. They'd tie it up. They'd answer. They'd respond every time. And Seattle gets the shootout win 5-4 over the Minnesota Wild last night. Very good victory for them, especially with the way the frustration of that St. Louis game in their first game of the season. 2 goals for Jordan Eberle last night. Jared McCann, Ty Cartier added goals as well for the Seattle Kraken. So nice win there for Seattle on the road, bouncing back and beating the Minnesota Wild there by a score of 5-4. How about those Columbus Blue Jackets too? We said, you know, take a small shot. You know, this is Colorado, very vulnerable right now. You know, multiple injuries up front. No Lehkonen, Big Val Nichushkin. Who knows when he's coming back? If he's coming back, he was out, and there was someone else too that was out for Colorado last night up front. Drouin, he was out as well. Miles, and look, there's another good call. I said Miles Wood, look out for him last night because he's going to play on the top line with McKinnon and Rantanen. And sure enough, Miles Wood scored a goal for Colorado last night in that game as well, up on the top line. But the problem continues to be the defense, and the even bigger problem continues to be Alexander Georgiev. That is now 2 just brutal games for him to start the year. He's been pulled twice Two starts, 2 times he's been pulled in a row to begin the season by Jared, and he deserved to be pulled. You give up 3 goals on 9 shots. That's not good enough. That's not goaltending you can win with. Couple of those goals, he's off his angle. That one goal that I know is a roof job, but he's off his angle. He's off the post. You got to hug the post there, man. This is a guy that hasn't played hockey in my life, but I've watched it enough to know when you're off your angle, you're going to get scored on, especially when the shot's relatively good. And he was. And then there was another soft one that just couldn't go in. That third goal was a disaster that he let in, and that was enough. And Justus Onanen comes in. He wasn't that much better, to be honest. But I think we're at the point, Alex, where if you're Jared Bednar, you've seen more than enough of Alexander Georgiev and these struggles of his going back to last year, where we're at the point now where it's time to give Onanen the net for a long period of time. See at least what you have in him, because he just doesn't have that sample size yet and that body of work where we can make an accurate assessment of what kind of goalie he is. But you got to see. Because I think we now know what you have in Georgiev. You don't have a guy that's number 1 caliber and may never be. We've now seen enough now. It's time, I think, for Bednar to give Onanen some shots. I think he will, too. I think last night might have been the last straw. The playoff struggles, the second half struggles last year, just the woeful performances against Vegas and Columbus in these first 2 games for Georgiev of the season this year. I think this is going to be the final decision that is going to push Bednar in the direction, Alex, of giving Onanen, I think, the first crack at starting moving forward.
Yeah, you have to do something different now, and I don't know if this means that Georgiev's career as a number 1 is done necessarily. I think he's just been overworked.
Yep.
We talked about this last year. I made this a point going back to the preview last year of that Colorado needed another goaltender that they could rely on so that Georgiev would not have to play 60-something games. And it seems like he, did not get enough rest or recovery from the offseason and during camp. And now has looked sluggish in these last two games. He's looked off his game. So now, like you said, yeah, Onanen needs to get the next several starts, at least give him a full week of action. You're the number 1 guy for the next 3 games. Give him that confidence. Let him build upon that. And if he proves to be a solid goaltender, then you run him 1A and you run Georgiev 1B. If not, then you're going to have to make some decisions and some changes sooner than later. And like I said, Joe Sakic is going to have to make some calls that he should have made already, in my opinion. And maybe it means Georgiev is the one that's shipped out of town.
Yeah, I think, and the bigger issue is not so much Georgiev. It's that Onanen's your backup plan, and you have nothing else really after that. That's the bigger issue. Let's give Dean Evason credit and Columbus. Dean Evason, his first win behind the bench with Columbus as well in that victory last night, and very good performance from a lot of their big guns. I thought Fantilli didn't have a great game against Minnesota. Boy, he was really good last night, and that's what they hope for moving forward from Adam Fantilli. Their first-round pick last year. And certainly Kent Johnson was good. Marchenko was good. A lot of their young, they have some talent up front, Columbus. They're kind of like a slightly lesser version of Utah, but they are going to be a team that they should be able to score goals with what they've got. Sean Monahan, great game. And I love the gesture after the game. Apparently what they're going to do after a Columbus win is they're going to give someone the player of the game, the donkey hat, because Johnny Gaudreau always called people a donkey, jokingly, in his time in the dressing room with his teammates. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So Sean Monahan gets the first donkey hat of the season for Columbus after that win. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. You could tell he was very kind of emotional knowing that, but that's a really good honor. So yeah, great win for that team. Like I said, as bad as Colorado looked, but Columbus has looked really sharp. Much sharper than anticipated in these first couple of games.
Lucas Dostal, by the way, as we turn our attention to Anaheim, San Jose, he's going to be good. He is going to be good. San Jose's got some offense, and he was really good in his first start. Like he is, this guy could win a Vezina down the road. I'm starting to think that. I mean, I don't think that's a crazy pie in the sky, ceiling for Lukas Dostal at this point.
Sure.
You like him. I've liked him all these years. He's been getting better. And he was excellent last night in that 2-0 shutout win for the Anaheim Ducks. How about Calgary starting the year 2-0? Don't tell them they're rebuilding. 6-3 win against the Flyers. Is Jonathan Huberdeau back in old form? What a start for him. He was good against Vancouver. What a night last night. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points for Jonathan Huberdeau last night. I'm telling you what, Alex, if Jonathan Huberdeau regains that Florida form, which again, that's when he was at his best. It's been tough sledding. It's been disappointing, underwhelming. He'd be the first person to tell you that. He even said it last year. It's been disappointing how I've played here in Calgary. But he looks like a different guy in just a couple of games, ready to maybe find that old Jonathan Huberdeau form. If that happens, Calgary, at least offensively, I'm still a little shaky with their defense, but offensively, they're going to be able to put the puck in the net, especially if Huberdeau shows more of the form we've seen of him from years past, like he has here in the first 2 games. There's no doubt, but very impressive stuff from Calgary. And at the end, we've got to save Chicago for the end. Alex's Blackhawks, first win of the season. Did I see a power play goal? I couldn't believe it. I did see a power play goal. Did I see some creativity? Did I see some great finish? Yes, I did. And a long time coming, because we know there's been chances. We know there's been opportunities, but there's been zero finish through Chicago's first 2 games against Utah and Winnipeg. And it was finally nice to see the puck go in for them. And they get the 5-2 win against the Edmonton Oilers last night. Great game for number 98 as well. Connor Bedard was absolutely outstanding. What a ripper he had for that 3rd goal that made it 3-1. Tara Vinen, another very strong game for him. No question about that. I know in the post-game celebration, they gave him the Player of the Game award. And by the way, in that clip, too, you see Nick Foligno address the team. That guy is just made to be a captain. And like I said, Chicago, I thought they played better in their 0-2 start, and they certainly deserve better fate against Winnipeg. We all know that. But they finally get rewarded, because I think they all felt, we're 0-2, but we played 2 good periods against Utah. We played a damn good road game against Winnipeg, and we have nothing to show for it. That's disappointing, but I think if we keep playing like this, we're going to eventually break through and get the result we want. And last night, Alex, they got the result they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the Bears take a 35-16 win over the Jaguars. Like I said, it's been a good 12 hours for Chicago sports, because you got the Hawks getting that first win of the year. And like I said, not just 1 power play goal, 3 power play goals. 2 of those goals coming from Teuvo Teravainen, who, he brought him back. And now he looks like the offensive guy that they were hoping he would be when they first had him. It seemed like he, it was kind of he's adapted his game kind of back to where everyone was anticipating. That time in Carolina, that time away from Chicago in that first stint, he learned how to be more complete player. He was a better 2-way player. He had to learn how to play, those bottom 6 roles. And I think getting that time there, and then eventually developing into a guy who can score goals, make plays, move the puck around, be a better offensive forward. And now he's, reaping the benefits, and the Hawks are reaping the benefits of him progressing in his talent. So it's a huge win for them. Peter Mrazek looks sharp. So now if you have Mrazek looking sharp, and let's see if Soderblom can follow up that great effort he had despite the loss in the game on Friday. We got some decent goaltending. That's a solid way to build. If you can get some decent goaltending from these 2 guys and get some solid offensive output like that on a nightly basis, have Bedard not only scoring goals but facilitating the guys around him, this would be a good momentum builder for the Hawks. So we got that going. And then just kind of going to some of the other games I was watching. Like I said, talked about Columbus and Colorado. Great win for Columbus, but Colorado is in bad shape. And then you mentioned about Lucas Dostal looking good at Anaheim. Wonder what's going to happen with John Gibson when he comes back and he's healthy. Maybe Gibson's the guy in Colorado. And maybe you swap him. Georgiev would be an interesting fit with Dostal in Anaheim. And if you have that 1-2 punch in Anaheim, that makes Anaheim a little bit of a dangerous team. Georgiev doesn't have to play as many games. He can kind of rest a little bit, and Dostal can now settle in being the number 1 guy. So that's maybe something to look out for. But great win for Anaheim. He said, I was completely way off on San Jose yesterday. I thought San Jose was going to kind of continue that offensive output. But Dostal being a quality goaltender, shutting the wall down, he's the guy we have to mark. And I will have goalie updates coming and power ranking updates coming later this week on Patreon. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But Dostal is somebody who I'm going to have to bump up a little bit higher and bump the gap up a little bit higher between him and Gibson and his backups, because he's definitely the superior goaltender in that room right now. Another game too, Seattle, Minnesota. Seattle getting that gritty win. in the shootout. And it's funny because now this is a Minnesota team where, and we have to start looking at this too from a live betting standpoint. It seems like Minnesota, they really struggle once games go past regulation. Like we can really start picking off maybe fading Minnesota in these spots in overtime and the shootout. It just seems
They've
like
had issues. It feels like
yeah,
they've lost a lot of overtime and shootout
yeah,
games the last few
yeah,
years. Yep.
especially at home. So
Yep.
that's something that I have circled again, and I'm kind of noting that if it's a reasonable price, which it usually is, when you talk about OT, anything in the pick and range, start going against Minnesota once those games go into overtime and the shootout. So those are the kind of biggest takeaways from the games I was watching last night.
There we go. Great. Yeah. Excellent recap of yesterday. A huge card. That's why the recap was a little bit longer than it normally would be. But you're right about Minnesota. Their struggles beyond regulation. They've had plenty of them. Speaking of Minnesota, as we turn to Sunday and the first of 4 games, Minnesota back in action. Back to back for them as they travel to Winnipeg to take on the Jets. Winnipeg minus 150 home favorites. 6 the total here in this game. On a Sunday. All games are at night. This is 6 Eastern, 5 Central here in this one. Back-to-back for Minnesota. They went with Fleury last night, so we expect Philip Gustafson in net. Big injury, though, unfortunately, for Minnesota. Joel Eriksson-Ek, unfortunately, injured last night. He's already been ruled out. Didn't even travel with the team to Winnipeg for this game. Upper body injury. Certainly going to be out at least. It's unsure the timetable, but definitely going to miss at least this game here for the Minnesota Wild. That's one of your absolute best two-way players. What he can do offensively. More importantly, what he can do defensively. You're going to miss that. Key face-offs. He's someone you would count on as well. Just a big loss for Minnesota, without question. Now you got to play back-to-back after a tough loss last night in a shootout to Seattle. Meanwhile, here's the Jets 2-0. Kind of all wrote them off. Now, again, it's 2-0, and one of those wins was against a slow-starting Edmonton team, and we saw it again last night. Oilers just don't start the season well. Chicago beat them last night, so you can't go overboard with praise for Winnipeg beating Edmonton, even though it was 6-0. The game against Chicago should have won. I thought they deserved a better fate, and certainly Soderblom played a great game, but Winnipeg ties it late. Scheifele gets both goals, the tying goal and then the overtime goal. But nevertheless, regardless of how it played out, they're 2-0. They've been very good defensively the first 2 games. They've only given up 1 goal, this Winnipeg team, through the first 2 games. So we'll see how this one plays out. Don't have a strong feel for it, really. I could see it maybe at first period over, potentially in this game with the Wild and the Jets. I don't know about the full game. Maybe we do get a fast start. We do get a couple of goals early. If I were to play an over, I'd be more interested in the first period here than I would be the full game. Keep in mind, Eriksson-Ek's loss shows up on both ends, but I think it's even more critical, the defensive impact that he makes from that center position, and that could mean maybe more defensive struggles here for this Minnesota Wild team. I mean, certainly a tough spot for Minnesota. I don't want to back Minnesota, but my Russian lay with Winnipeg in this kind of price range, not really. So it's probably not much for me in this game other than maybe a lean to the first period over. Alex, what do you think here? Wild Jets.
Yeah, so I have a small play on that first period over, 1.5 and minus $1.15. I thought that was just a short price. I could see where, like I said, second night of back-to-back Minnesota, a little sluggish early, and I think Winnipeg could feast off of that. So just looking for goals early in that one. That's the only thing I like. First period over 1.5. Minus $1.15, up to $1.20. Anything after that, I'd wait and try and grab something at a cheaper price than game.
Obviously, look, it's you haven't gotten going yet, Velarde or Perfetti, but I would look toward those 2 guys as far as player props on the Winnipeg side of things here in this game tonight. All right, Seattle and Dallas. We've got the Stars minus 180 home fate. Yeah, Nino Niederreiter against one of his old teams. Of course, former Minnesota and Nashville. He was a Nino. I don't mind that. That's actually not a bad value. Look, Niederreiter maybe to find the back of the net here for Winnipeg. Dallas minus 186 the total. I'm sprinkling on the draw here. You look at Seattle, they almost went to OT against St. Louis. They did go to overtime last night against Minnesota. Dallas on the back-to-back. So is Seattle. But Seattle does have to travel. Dallas gets to stay at home. Dallas very solid. The 3-0 shutout win with Ottinger last night, 34 saves. This will be the first Dallas Stars regular season start for their new backup goaltender because, of course, Scott Wedgwood went to Nashville in the offseason. So Casey DeSmith who is now the backup goalie for Dallas. He'll get his first start of the season here tonight on the back-to-back. We saw Joey Decord get the call for Seattle last night, which means we assume it'll be Philip Grubauer here tonight in this game for the Kraken. I'm on the fence with the total, although I will point out Seattle is playing faster this year. There's no doubt. You can see it. The game against St. Louis, we got robbed, Alex and I, collectively on that one, and it stayed under. But, of course, the game last night with Minnesota flew over the total. They're pushing pace more under Dan Bylsma and his coaching staff. And I think the additions of Montour on the back end, Stevenson up front, give Seattle a little bit more versatility offensively as well. But you also look at Dallas here, and very solid defensive team they can be. They're off a shutout last night. I get the feeling I would lean a little bit to an over by Fecta here. I don't love it, but I would lean that way. I might sprinkle on it just a bit because Seattle might get Dallas in more of a run and gun affair, and Dallas doesn't mind playing that way. Dallas can play that way, obviously, with the great depth they've got up front. All four lines can contribute offensively. So, and look, last year, I believe the game in Dallas, it did go to overtime, and I think it was a 4-3 final score as well. So it would have went over the total. So I think I will sprinkle on a small over by Fecta in this game, and also on the draw. I think we've got ourselves a close competitive game here between these two teams. This feels like the spot after an impressive, satisfying shutout win against the Islanders, or maybe Dallas tonight on the back-to-back against a solid Seattle team. They're in a battle here. And like I said, the game in Dallas with these two squads last year went to overtime, and I'm going to take a shot that maybe it does here once again tonight. Alex, what do you think here, Seattle and Dallas?
Yeah, I kind of lean with the draw, but the play I like more is Seattle team total. Got over 2.5, minus $1.05 up to minus $1.10. I think there was going to be goals, and Casey DeSmith, formidable backup, and first game in Dallas. But like I said, this feels like it could be one of those 4-3 kind of games, 5-4 kind of a game. So I will end up being on that draw, but I definitely like Seattle team total over 2.5 as well.
That's a good number and a good price. And like I say, with the more up-tempo way of playing that Seattle's having this year, we do expect there are going to be chances for them. Like if you had the Seattle team total against St. Louis, that's a brutal beat because they had the 2 goals by halfway through the game, and then they didn't get another one after that. But obviously they get the 5 spot last night, 4 of them obviously in regulation and overtime, but definitely a very capable offensive team. I still think they're a better offensive team this year. There's no doubt with the style they're playing, and obviously I think the personnel's been upgraded a little bit at that end of the ice as well. I agree. Wyatt Johnston is due. Will tonight be the night's the big question? But definitely it feels like he's had those opportunities, and puck hasn't gone in for him yet. But it doesn't mean it won't go in for him at some point. So definitely keep that in mind. I think it's probably closing in on him getting finally off the schneid and on the score sheet. All right, Battle of Alberta. This is always one of the highlight games, even with Calgary. Like I was going to say, we expected probably when this game was on the schedule for the first Sunday of the year, we probably expected Edmonton to be 2-0, maybe Calgary to be 0-2. It's a reverse. Calgary's 2-0, Edmonton's 0-2 here to begin the season. Edmonton minus 270, home favorites, 6.5 being the total in this game. This feels like it could be the night Edmonton bursts out offensively. Calgary is still sketchy in their own end. We know that. The win last night, 6-3, but they did give up 3 goals in that game. They did beat Vancouver 6-5, but they gave up 5 goals. They're still after Uyghur. Miramonov is playing a top pair. That's asking a lot for someone that's a very young defenseman. And then you look at the rest of that collective on the blue line. It's there's a lot of youth and a lot of inexperience, and they're playing more minutes than maybe they should. When you're talking about Kevin Ball and you're talking about Braden Pahal and some of these others on this blue line, it should be Dan Vladar, Darth Vladar tonight in net for the Calgary Flames, based on what we have seen from the Flames last night going with Wolf. You'd think it would be Vladar tonight, and similarly for Edmonton, we saw Pickard last night. It'll be back to Stuart Skinner tonight in this game, off the game where he got pulled and yanked in the season opener against Winnipeg. Let's see how Stuart Skinner responds here in this one. I like the over trifecta, Alex, in this one. Over trifecta. I think this is my first over trifecta of the year. First period over. First period, both teams to score. Full game over. I do like all three. The Calgary team total I'm a little bit interested in as well, over 2.5. You would think at some point Skinner's got to man up and play better. Edmonton defensively's got to play better. But Calgary's scoring right now. They are playing great offensively. Edmonton's penalty kill has been pathetic so far, Alex, and you know that. When the Chicago Blackhawks, no offense, scoring 3 power play goals against you, you've got penalty kill issues. And Edmonton had a bad penalty kill against Winnipeg, too. They gave up at least 1 or 2 power play goals in that game. So that's not a recipe for success, especially when you're laying minus 270. The penalty kill has been a disaster in 2 games for the Edmonton Oilers. So over trifecta, smaller sprinkle as well, Flames team total for me, over 2.5 as well. Alex, Battle of Alberta.
Yeah, I'm just rolling with the first period over 1.5, and I grabbed that already at minus 135. Anything higher than that, I would suggest playing it live. Try and grab a minus 120 or better. I also grabbed both teams' score at plus 154. That's available at FanDuel. 6.5, yeah, it sounds about right, but I'm just gonna keep it with the beginning of the game. Like I said, this should be a back and forth kind of a battle, and it's interesting. Calgary, for some reason, believe in Vladar as the better goalie than Dustin Wolf. And like you said, both of them looked shaky in their first starts, but Vladar gave up 5 goals. Wolf only gave up 3. Wolf looked really sharp. So the fact that they played him last night and held Vladar for tonight lets you know that they at least think Vladar is their number one option. Skinner, of course, going for Edmonton. That makes a lot of sense. So I can see Edmonton, like I said, maybe they burst out and get about 5 or 6 goals, and this one goes back and forth. But I just want to be involved in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, Huberdeau, the fact that he's still, I agree, Percy. Anything over plus 300 is just incredible with the way he started the season for Calgary. And credit to him. This is a guy that I think his pride got wounded a little bit last year with the disappointing season. How is he going to respond? What kind of a professional are you? How do you respond when you didn't have the season you wanted? Well, he's responded the right way for the first 2 games of the season for the Calgary Flames. And it's great to see because I know Jonathan Huberdeau took a lot of heat from Flames fans with his disappointing season last year. So I'm definitely hoping for the best for him. And like I said, great to see him have this strong start to the year. No question about that. And by the way, Connor Zary, Kuzmenko, Pospisil, they're all good value-laden goal prop candidates right now for the Calgary Flames. You got to think McDavid, Draisaitl, though, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman's been quiet, in the first 2 games. Eventually they've got to get rolling. Tonight could be the night because, look, Calgary is no 90s Devils. We know that. So this should be, in my opinion, a pretty entertaining game and back and forth when it's all said and done. All right, final game of this Sunday slate, Anaheim, Vegas. We got Vegas minus 300 home favorites here in the Fortress T-Mobile Arena. The total sitting at 6.5, shaded to the under in this game. Now, keep in mind, we saw Lukas Dostal last night. He was terrific in the victory over the San Jose Sharks. But it is back-to-back, which means probably not going to see Lukas Dostal here tonight, which means we're going to see James Reimer claimed off waivers, put on waivers by the Buffalo Sabres, and now claimed off waivers here by the Anaheim Ducks. And with John Gibson on IR, he's now your backup to Dostal right now. So I would expect James Reimer to get the start here in net for the Anaheim Ducks tonight. For the Vegas Golden Knights, it is, and it's confirmed that we will see the Golden Knights debut, first regular season start for Ilya Samsonov in net. Of course, former Toronto Maple Leaf. Samsonov's a wild card. Samsonov on his best day, he can be great. We saw it at times in Toronto. We also saw games, when he was struggling mentally and a crisis of confidence midway through last season, and he's given up 4-5 goals and just getting shelled, on a nightly basis during that tumultuous run that he had in Toronto. So becomes a very, very tough handicap. Which version of Samsonov are you going to get here in his very first start? It's going to be interesting. I did not expect Vegas to be 2-0 to the over to begin the year. I'll say that. But here they are. They're scoring goals in bunches. Defensively, they haven't been that airtight group that I think Bruce Cassidy certainly wants them to be. Can they revert to that kind of form here tonight against the Anaheim Ducks, who, are capable offensively? Did only score 2 goals, though, albeit they won because of the great performance by their D and their goaltender, but they still only ended up putting up 2 goals. It's not like this has been a strong over series history. 3 of the last 4 meetings have gone under the total. By the way, Anaheim's beaten Vegas 3 straight times. And last year, Anaheim went 3-1 against Vegas, including a victory here at T-Mobile Arena. So I'm not ready to get involved with Vegas in this kind of a price range. And after wins against, St. Louis and Colorado, is this a flat spot for Vegas potentially? I don't know, but I'm not backing Anaheim either with Reimer in his first start. So not much here for me with Anaheim and Vegas, other than maybe I look at a few props. I think Dorofeev, I think Barbashev, you got to keep going with Barbashev. He's been absolutely outstanding for Vegas early in the season. Close shave Barbashev. And I think for the Anaheim Ducks, you look at what they've got. Cutter Gauthier, I thought for his first game, of course, with the Ducks last night against San Jose, playing with Carlson and Killorn on that top line. You've definitely got someone that was shooting the puck quite a bit, which was good to see around the front of the net. We'll see if he's a little more assertive here tonight in this one. And then, of course, Robbie Fabry, I think, has a little value. He's up on the second line to begin the year for the Anaheim Ducks. So if you're looking for a little goal prop value, I think there is with Robbie Fabry as well for the Anaheim Ducks playing on that second line. Alex, the final game of the night, Ducks, Golden Knights.
It's funny we say teams are kind of disappointing us in their styles. We're usually talking about a team that's playing poorly. In Vegas's case, we're disappointed in their styles because we were expecting unders in defense, and here they are
playing. And I had questions about their offense and how much.
And here they are scoring goals, and so now we're looking kind of goofy. Like, well, wait, we were supposed to be getting value with these 6.5s, and now no, they're going over the numbers.
It's not just us. Watch the Vegas video preview we did with Dana and Scott, the Vegas guys.
I know
that are right there on the scene. And follow this team day in and day out. They all thought they'd be an under team and defense first. Hasn't happened. So at least not yet.
Not yet, yeah. And it's hard to justify trying to look at a under 6.5 here when it's an Anaheim team. Like you said, they played Vegas well, and they had James Reimer as their goalie, which means that this could be an up and down kind of a battle. For whatever reason, Anaheim seeing the puck well and getting their chances, getting their score chances against Vegas. So I'm staying out in this one. I'll watch it, maybe jump in for something live. But it's just kind of waiting for the bottom to drop to see where this Vegas defense is going to finally show up, or if they're just going to continue to outscore their problems on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. This is the last game of the night, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's the only real late game tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Central. So if Bengals-Giants turns into a snore fest, which it might, you never know, you've at least got a little Anaheim-Vegas to keep you entertained here in the late night hours tonight. No doubt about it. And as I mentioned, those are the props I like. I mentioned them earlier. Fabry, Gauthier, those two I think have a little bit of value. And then for Vegas, my number one is still Barbashev. He's had a phenomenal start to the year. Olofsson as well. He's had a nice start. Maybe consider him as well. Olofsson, Barbashev, Dorofeev, probably my three favorite Vegas props. As far as value is concerned, obviously Eichel and Stone, they're capable of scoring any given night, but we're talking about value in the price. And I think Dorofeev, along with Olofsson and, of course, Ivan Barbashev, it's all value in the price right now with those three guys as far as props are concerned. Great stuff. There we go. We try to keep an even brisker pace on Sunday, especially during NFL season, because we want to be done before the football starts, and I'm sure you guys do as well. So hit the like button. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. And again, a reminder, tomorrow and every Monday moving forward, the Ice Guys show will be live at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, every Monday starting tomorrow. So keep that in mind. We will be on at our weekend time on Mondays, and then Tuesday to Friday, we will remain at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. And of course, weekends, as always, noon Eastern and 11 a.m. Central. Check out patreon.com/Ice Guys. It was a heck of a night collectively last night. The card was great. Cashed a lot of winners. Alex did. He did a great job. I had a profitable night. Best bets were, of course, best bet with New Jersey. First period puck line. And that's what the betting card is posted there for, to help you guys make some money throughout the season. The daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day. Goalie charts, totals charts, articles on the way this week. My first power ratings are going to go up this week on the Patreon page. Of course, exclusive live betcasts only available to Patreon members will be coming throughout the season as well, plus more bonus content, and just $10 per month for all of that. And we have not changed the price for years. So make sure you sign up, become a Patreon member, patreon.com/iceguys.
Also, make sure to check out the Ice Guys store at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. We've got everything in stock right now, all the hoodies, T-shirts, caps, mugs, everything you need. We got it right now at the Ice Guys store. So check that on out, iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All our Ice Guys sponsors, Power Play Sportsbook and Manscaped and Boston Hemp, everything you can think of. All our sponsors, you're going to hear from them right now. And then after that, we'll be back with Bargain Bin Special of the Night and Best Bet.
Support for the Ice Guys podcast is provided by Boston Hemp Incorporated, Manscaped, Power Play Sportsbook, Raise Your Game, Tailgater Sofa, and a big thank you to all that subscribe to the Ice Guys Patreon page.
Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS. That's promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, it's about 14 million balls that you can preserve. The Performance Package 4.0 is the complete accessory package to take care of everything that is required. You've got, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Takes care of your facial hair and among other things. You've got, of course, the Weed Whacker. I'm approaching 40. Nose hair has become a major issue. It pisses the hell out of me. I need to take care of that shit, and the Weed Whacker can help you do that. Both of these products, waterproof and a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And you'll also be able to take care of those delicate areas with the ball toner, with the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good, looking good, and feeling good down in the nether regions. This complete Performance Package 4.0 will take care of everything for you, for all you guys out there, and it's courtesy of our good friends at manscaped.com. So get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code ICEGUYS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Everyone loves a perfect pair. Bacon and eggs. Thunder and lightning. Mario and Luigi. A hot dog with fries. Ian and Alex B. That's right. Everyone loves a perfect pair. So why not pair up your game nights with Boston Hemp? From exotic flower to concentrates and edible products. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better pairing than Boston Hemp and hockey. Check them out today at bostonhempinc.com. That's bostonhempinc.com. Boston Hemp Incorporated, the official smoke sponsor of the Ice Guys. Void where prohibited by law. Not available outside of the United States. Must be 21 or over to obtain products. Check your local regulations to see if Boston Hemp is available in your area.
All right, check out all our great sponsors of the Ice Guys show, including, of course, Boston Hemp Inc., 20% off on the website of all orders using the promo code Ice Guys, bostonhempinc.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night. It's one win on the season, courtesy of Calder on Friday with Kucherov. Yeah. But like I said, hey, there's going to be droughts. I'm shocked there were not more of these last year, but doesn't mean we're not going to find something soon. And we just keep plugging away and hoping we get one of these big bargain bin plus prices to hit for us. We've been close. See if we can find one here tonight. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for your bargain bin special?
Yeah, I'm looking at that Seattle-Dallas game. I think there's going to be some solid offense in that contest. And I think Chandler Stevenson could be one of the guys to get a goal there for the Kraken. You can find his price at plus 410 a number of shops, including Caesars and FanDuel. It's Chandler Stevenson, anytime goal, plus 410 for Seattle tonight against Dallas. That is my Sunday bargain bin special.
All right, good stuff. Chandler Stevenson for the Seattle Kraken at a very good price there, plus 425 against the Dallas Stars for Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. All right, my bargain bin special of the night. There's some good choices out there for sure. There's a lot of good ones to choose from. And of course, now I've seen my price board has frozen here. It always happens around NFL Sunday that BetStamp, for some reason, stuff loading. It's terrible for it. So I'm going to do some price hunting myself in a moment here. We'll see what we can find. Just want to make sure it's bargain bin worthy because I have two choices, and I want to make sure that they're both currently bargain bin worthy. They are, in fact. They are, and they're both barely bargain. I'm going to give you two because I can't choose between the two. Right on, even plus 300. We just talked about him in the final game. Close shave Barbashev. Ivan Barbashev, Vegas, plus 300. Score a goal tonight. And the other one is going to be the red-hot resurgent Jonathan Huberdeau for the Calgary Flames, plus 310. 2 goals, 2 assists last night. He's played great in the first 2 games for this Flames team. And if he keeps scoring like this, the bargain bin prices are not going to last on Jonathan Huberdeau. So let's get in while we can. So 2 bargain bin specials for me tonight. Ivan Barbashev, Vegas, plus 300. Jonathan Huberdeau, Calgary, plus 310 for my bargain bin specials of the night. And hopefully we get the breakthrough we're looking for with the bargain bin special of the night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
All right, same game. Seattle, Dallas. We're going Kraken team total over 2.5. You get minus $1.05 up to minus $1.10. I think it's a fair price. Like I said, I like goals in this game. All we need is at least 3 of them from Seattle. Don't need to worry about the money line here. Let's just go Kraken team total over. That's Sunday best bet.
There you go. Seattle Kraken team total over 2.5. Best bet for Alex B. Smith. My best bet. Let's look for some goals here in the Battle of Alberta with Calgary and Edmonton. Over 6.5, minus 120. I also like over first period and both teams to score in the first period of that game. But we're going to go with the full game over there. Flames, Oilers, over 6.5, minus 120 for my best bet here for this Sunday NHL card. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Oh, yeah, NFL best bet. Someone asked, Zach F. I like the Chargers today, money line. Good spot off a bye week. Denver after 3 wins in a row. Time to sell high on them. The Chargers do have a very good defense still, and I think they're going to give Bo Nix some trouble. Harbaugh with time to prepare off a bye. Historically, he's a good coach off a bye week. Chargers for me. I think it's a nice little spot to back them here. Alex, do you have an NFL best bet?
Yeah, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, first half over 20.5, minus 105.
There we go. Good stuff. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week. Tuesday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Of course, Mondays, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, starting tomorrow. Saturdays and Sundays, noon Eastern as well. And if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you tomorrow on Monday. Note the start time, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central tomorrow and every Monday moving forward for another edition of the Ice Guys.